So here I am testing OBS Open Broadcaster software at 20 frames per second. Dropped frames 45 already. Again. CPU usage is pretty high. I'm also watching the stream. Let's do the picture image slideshow again. Okay, smakelijk voortzetting. You're watching a live test broadcast of OBS settings. Watching live test broadcast.
Can you change the settings? That's what I meant, because look where we have.
This is at 20 frames per second. You can adjust a lot of settings.
Yes, I do that. I use that.
This is at 20 frames per second. You can adjust a lot of settings.
Yes, I do that. I use that.
This is at 20 frames per second. You can adjust a lot of settings. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. There's about an 18-second delay between the live and what you see on YouTube. There's about an 18-second delay between the live and recording. What you see on YouTube. Between the live broadcast and what you see the live broadcast basically, but there's an 18-second delay.
Delay from what? On the
Live broadcast, uploading and downloading and encoding. You see the live broadcast basically, but there's an 18-second delay.
Why there? Away from what?
Uploading and downloading and uploading. There's an 18-second delay.
Why there?
What do you ask?
When those two events, there's a delay of time.
Between broadcasting and doing the broadcast. So what you see on the internet is an 18-second delay on uploading and downloading. And perhaps also encoding. But it may depend on the settings as well.
With broadcasting, you mean the point in time where the actual event is transferred into.
Right, we could also use a camera image showing us live. So you can see when I switch, for example, image slideshow is now on. See here on the OBS, you see the image slideshow. A slideshow of images.
Slide.
Yeah. And then I can switch to the AP camera now. And then you see, before it appears here in the live dashboard, it takes about 18 seconds. And 10.7% of this broadcast has dropped frames. But I find that with the audio it doesn't really make a difference. So now we see it appear there. So if we switch to this display capture now, and we'll see that appear here in about 18 seconds.
This is the picture that we looked at.
Yeah.
Not the one that we quoted.
It's broadcast and also it's on the YouTube server, so I'll watch it later. But I'm trying to find settings where there are no dropped frames basically. No, so frames. Right now, 1,149 frames, see for yourself.
That's a lot of drop there.
1188 and I've adjusted the bit rate in the level and the quality levels works.
To reduce the bit rate, does that result in drop time?
No.
Doesn't have time, it doesn't have enough pixels to take care of all the frames that you have.
Well, I haven't read up on it, so I don't really understand. What the bit rate is about. You have two bit rates basically.
So the bit rate is determined by the recording process, by what is picked up that comes out of the sensitive, light sensitive equipment.
Well, you can put this bit rate I've put on 1000 and I'm using a custom buffer size of 1100.
Mm.
And then we see here kilobits per second is sometimes 1170, 1524. So it's higher than what I put in the custom buffer size and in the other size. So I don't know what that's about. But I'm trying to prevent dropped frames. So I want to be able to watch the broadcast.
Well,
And
a
I
bigger buffer, it might
not
be possible to
playing the
reduce
broadcast,
drop
so
to
that's
frame.
weird. They do that with synthetic telepathy.
What do they do?
They let you talk through my sentence and then I don't hear what you say. I want to say something.
I
On
thought
this
you were
recording.
talking through mine.
No. So what were you saying? Here we see the live broadcast. I'm checking if the resolution is high enough, if it looks presentable. Well, this looks pretty good. Still at 1188 dropped frames.
The dropped frame rate is depending on what you measure by as being a frame. At what point?
This is the dropped frames are 1188, so there are 1188 dropped frames. You can see it here. Okay, so what is it you do not understand?
It's not that I don't understand, I'm just saying that the way you count the dropped frames depends on at which point you count the input frames and at what point you count the output frames. And the difference between the two is what the number of frames that have been dropped. Is that clear?
No, it's the number of frames dropped by the encoder, not by YouTube.
Well, yes, that's the frames counted after the
Or whatever.
encoder has done its work. That is the second point where you count the number of frames per time unit. And that is lower than the number of frames that are counted at an earlier stage.
This is the number of dropped frames before it is broadcast, basically. So I think it's not counting the frames, it's not comparing the number of frames that you've broadcast to the ones that YouTube has broadcast. It's not comparing those two.
Well, then the question becomes, which two are you comparing? Or is it comparing?
How does it measure its dropped frames? That's also a question.
That is the question.
Because the broadcast looks normal. I could use some test video, perhaps. Perhaps I can find one of my own videos that are playable. $13.99 dropped frames. I'm now starting a test video, which may be rather high resolution.
Are these colors the colors of a certain country on its flag?
Rasta colors red, yellow, green.
Yeah. Could it be Portugal?
Yeah. It's a Rasta flag. I don't know what you mean.
It's what?
It's a Rasta flag. Rastafarians.
Rastafarian. Oh, I see.
The playing video seems to be hanging again.
World religion timeline. That's interesting. Where do you pick that up?
CPU is at about 68 when I play the video. So that's not a problem. YouTube live dashboard is not showing the live broadcast at the moment, so I reload again. Which is weird, so it's hanging for some reason, and then it jumps to another point on the timeline of the video.
I was not talking about a problem, I just wanted to know what question where you picked up a certain image.
Huh? What?
What I said did not concern a problem. I just wanted to know where you picked up that image, the timeline of religions.
Somewhere on the internet.
Yes, of course, but that doesn't mean anything useful. Somewhere on the internet. Could be anything. Anywhere. Or you just search on the words timeline of religions. Is that what you did?
Yeah. To study what religions there were before Judaism. Well, over here the video was also hanging while playing, sort of. It may have been rendered wrong. This is what they call Little Planet video. So now there should be 18 seconds of it visible in here. The video is hanging again.
Or just search on words. The subject, timeline of religions, similar to that title of the book.
To study what religions were before Judaism.
The history of God.
The live stream seems to stop here and the quality is not very high.
Did you hear what I said?
So I think yeah, but I'm working on adjusting the settings of my OBS.
I'm sorry to disturb you.
So I didn't exactly hear what you said, but it was about bit rate or something.
I said the title, Timeline of Religions, reminds me of another title, which is the title of a book called A History of God.
Is it the book that I read in Ireland?
What did you do in Ireland?
Is it the book that I read in Ireland?
Well, could very well be. It's from one of your books.
Mm-hmm. See if these settings are better quality.
I don't see the hand that holds the camera. You have one hand on the handlebar, and the other hand must end somewhere by the camera, right?
Well, I'm checking the different bit rates and then the quality, if it has any influence on that basically.
Yes.
Kan je je knie weghalen? But my PC may not be suitable for streaming in 1080p. I could give that a try. Mouse pointer was kind of hanging. More dropped frames. So it can just not handle it, so I think it's better to put it in much lower, as low as possible. So I'm using bit rate 1000, buffer size 1100. Process priority high.
And I think you can simply compare those two numbers because they mean different things.
I'm not comparing them, I'm using them, these settings.
Right.
So when I play the video here, then I can see that it's full resolution. It looks cool at that resolution. I can check what this original resolution is. (1920 by 960). So it's scaled down to 720p. Full screen. Hmm. (1776) dropped frames. Looking bad, very blurry. I've clicked on settings twice.
This is the camera that you hold directly in your hand, right?
Yeah, well, it's in a little tripod.
Oh, that small tripod, yes. So it's not directly in your hand, it's with the tripod between your hand and the camera.
I don't know. Okay, let's try 1080p, but if it cannot handle this, then I think that will be worse.